Dale Kooyenga is not only he's a veteran of the military, but he's also a CPA. Imagine having a certified public accountant in our legislature. I mean, I don't know how they can put up with something like that actually knows the numbers, but at least the Democrats, the Republicans, of course, understand all of that. So he's a great legislator from that area, and without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Representative Dale Kooyenga.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for all your work. Aren't these elected? These Republicans have been up here. They're awesome folks. One of my favorite is Mark. In the first day of caucus this year, we were going through the new folks there, like Joe Sanfilippo and Ron Hutton. So we were all introducing ourselves, and Mark got up there and said, "I'm a small businessman." The next day I got out there is Tom Larson. If you know Representative Tom Larson, he represents Northern Wisconsin. He's a smaller guy, very quiet. And he just looked at Mark and said, "Well, that's a small businessman. I'd hate to see a large one." But speaking of large, there's some large reforms we've done in Madison. You've heard about the big ones, but I think that there's more to come. And there's more to come because of the work that you have done to put us in a position to have a Republican Senate, a Republican Assembly, and a Republican Governor. And if we keep having that, we're going to keep at these reforms. And there's a time to sprint, there's a time to walk, but we're never going to move backwards. In this budget, we're moving forward. In particular, working on tax reform. And really, if you want to talk about Wisconsin as far as economic growth, I mean, I think if you look around the state as far as states that are moving forward, states that are moving forward have one or two things happen. They're either a right-to-work state, which is not going to happen this session, but you have to admit that it's causing economic growth in the states that have right-to-work. And then there's tax reform. And really what tax reform is about just a simpler, fairer tax code. And Wisconsin's tax code is not simple. And it's about lower rates. And as we're competing with Illinois, we need to keep in mind that Illinois has 5% tax rate. They raised their rates 50%, and went from 3% to 5%. But here in Wisconsin still, 4 of our 5 tax brackets are well above 5%. Our top rate is 7.75%. Illinois' top rate is 5%. So we need to compete with our neighbor to our south, and now is the time to step up and make significant tax reform here in Wisconsin. And I'm looking forward to working with the governor and their team and as far as looking at our Wisconsin tax code and lowering overall tax rates. There's a lot of stuff going on in Madison, but just as far as, for this venue, as far as what we're all about, I just want to leave you with this challenge. I think we should all just kind of take this up as our mission in this congressional district. And this is one of the things the last election showed is that fair or unfair, our party's not doing well in our minority districts. And we as a party, there's no reason for that. And there's no reason for that because if you look at the party that has championed what has been accomplished in this country for the minorities, it's for this party. Mm-hmm. And we don't have to ever be ashamed of the traditional party. In fact, we need to talk about the traditional party that was the Republican Party that ended slavery. Yes. And you know what? I've been asking people about that have not, that don't read history books like we do, or that aren't in politics. People don't know that. I know it's from second nature to you and I, but we need to get the message out there of the Republican Party and what we stand for. It was the Republican Party in Congress that passed civil rights legislation. And we need to be proud of that. We need to get that out there. And if you're talking about free market reforms, help out folks that don't have money more than they help out folks that do have money. And if you want to know more about that, I really encourage you to look in the area of licensing at the state level and how licenses have been used to fence people out that don't have the opportunities that you and I have. And really, free market reforms and really embracing those principles, really to champion our values as a party and really reach out to parts of our community when we're not doing very well election-wise. So I'm looking forward to working with you on those issues and getting out there. And we're going to fight the fight. We're doing it here in Wisconsin. It's proving it's paying dividends, and that's why we're rewarded with the Senate, the Assembly, and Governor Walker. But now let's take the same principle and let's apply it nationally, and let's keep moving Milwaukee forward. Thanks so much for your time.